The reward is 100,000 US dollars, and you have to survive 21 days in the wilderness with a stranger of the opposite sex, no clothes, no food or water. Do you dare to accept the challenge? This 30-year-old girl is contestant Diana. With a fortune of more than $100 million, she is usually at home in a good mood. Delicious food, a happy life no longer aroused her interest. The life of the rich is dull and boring. She heard that there is a very interesting life in the wilderness. Diana immediately signed up to join the program. Her partner, this bald man, is a fisherman who works from dawn to dusk. He was tired of this hard life, but still didn't earn enough for his life, so he chose to sign up for this challenge, hoping for a $100,000 reward. The place they will challenge this time is the deserted island of Dominica in Venezuela. This is a famous beautiful volcanic rock island. Resources on the island are very scarce. Both can only venture into shallow water to hunt for food. This means they will be exposed to all sorts of dangerous animals such as thorny sea urchins, aggressive bull sharks, and Portuguese worshipped jellyfish. The two met, laughing and talking happily as if meeting old friends who had known each other for many years. The bald guy used the trick to flirt with a girl for 30 years of being single, making Diana laugh and amused. Then the two officially started their 21-day survival journey. The first task is to find water and build shelter. The water source is soon found, but the water is yellow too. The man dug a water hole by the river. The water dug out in this way will be relatively clean and can be drunk directly. The water problem is solved, but they have not been able to find a suitable place to build a shelter. Seeing that the sun was about to set, they decided to camp in an open field. During the construction of the shelter, the bald man and Diana disagreed over the style of the house. Both had their own ideas. Diana gave him a lot of advice, but he said no. He thought that the shelter built on Diana's ideas wouldn't work. The wind blows, and it will fly away. The bald man still resolutely denied Diana's opinion. He is a person who likes to run things alone. There is no room for negotiation. Shelter must be built my way. Diana is a billionaire. After all, how can she stand this? She was so angry that she ran to the sea to bathe. A 30-year-old lady with a fortune of more than 100 million and a bald brother team up to survive 21 days in the wild. What will happen? On the first day, the two had a nasty argument about building a shelter. That night, Diana shivered from the cold. The bald man wanted to hold her warm, but she said no. Early the next morning, the two went to the beach to sunbathe and warm up. Diana says, without fire at night, I really can't stand it. Talking about bonfires, he said that this is the survival skill he is most confident in. I will arrange that for you today. Bald man suggested that the first task now is to find food, solve the food problem first. Then the two together make traps to catch fish. This cooperation is very pleasant. It will be done soon. The bald brother took the trap and dropped it into the sea. This time there will be food for sure. Then the two spotted a sea urchin on the shore. They opened it with a knife, put it in their mouth, and ate it raw. Diana says, I have never eaten sea urchin, not bad at all. Now is the time to light the fire, without tools. The bald man used the ancient manual method of creating fire. He is very confident about that. He said he would light a fire within 30 minutes. Then he will have free time to go to the beach with Diana. But he rubbed it for a long time without seeing any flames. Eventually, he was exhausted and paralyzed. Diana also tried. Unsurprisingly, it ended in failure. No fire, a disappointment for Diana. That means another Cold War tonight, Diana said while crying in front of the camera. Diana is devastated by the cold night. The two have no choice but to use the leaves as blankets to get through the long night. In the blink of an eye, the time has come to the 10th day. The bald brother still can't light the fire. Diana was almost broken at this point. I remember thinking the bald guy was an expert when we first met. Unexpectedly, he was such a weak brother that even the most basic ignition couldn't be solved. Worse, every time the bald man checked the fish trap, it was completely empty. They can only eat forest fruits and coconuts to satisfy their daily hunger. Still 11 days left. Can the bald brother with Diana survive? A man and a woman must survive in the wild for 21 days without clothes. Because there was no fire for a long time and could not find food, the relationship between the two began to break down. Diana felt that the bald man was not a man, not displaying the strength he should have. And the bald guy thinks it's not his fault, and he's the hardest worker these days, providing her with all the protein. He was noticeably thinner. Conflict between the two sides broke out. On the 13th day, when the bald man woke up, he discovered that Diana was playing the missing game. He He searched the whole island, but no one was there. It turned out that Diana had been to the organizers' camp alone. At this point, she asked to leave the challenge. She didn't want to stay here even for a second. "I'll sponsor $100,000 for the program, take me home." Faced with such a request, the program team also felt confused. She deserves to be a rich woman, with a net worth of more than $100 million. So now only the bald guy is left on the island. The sudden departure of his girlfriend made him very angry. "I almost couldn't help but smash the camera. Luckily, I was stopped by the camera guy next to me." Diana had just left. The bald man successfully lit the fire. Maybe this guy did it on purpose before. Time to day 17, bald man found a big crab on the beach. The ill-fated crab was kidnapped and put in the pot. In the next second, its life ended tragically. It tastes very good. With the blessing of this protein, the bald man easily persisted to the 21st day. Early in the morning, he walked 5 kilometers along the steep cliffs, reaching his destination on the southern beach. With the appearance of a yacht in the distance, it means that the bald man's ordeal was a complete success. Due to Diana leaving early, $100,000 all belongs to him. He survived 21 days in the wilderness. Bald man has lost 20 kilograms, and Diana, who left on day 13, also lost 10 kilograms.